Okay. Hey, I think we're back. I think we're good.
Okay,
Right, good. So sorry about that. So,
that's okay. Um, so the three memorable experiences.
yeah, yes.
I, my three most memorable experiences actually happened around our own national competitions.
Hmm.
Um, but there was the game Louisville.
Of course.
There was
Okay.
the very first home football game against Michigan. There
Nice.
was this entire basketball season
Yeah,
was
I was there for some of
was
that.
it was such a joy to be part of. But for true experiences, I have in 1997,
Mhm.
our dance team was first runner up at the national competition. They won the next year, but that
Mhm.
first time being part of that top two, I remember they were announcing, and you'll see that this trend tends to repeat itself. It's probably something we're known for, unfortunately, or fortunately. So when they were announcing the awards, they announced second place, and we all just went, and it was being televised, and we all just went so crazy that they had to take a pause before they announced the next team. And then in, I want to say 2014 or 15, I think it was 2014, we, my co-ed team made it to
I was
finals.
just saying, was that okay? Okay. Now I was trying to think of which year you won the national championship a couple years ago.
Oh, the dancers won the
Dance.
gold
Dancers.
medal at the ICU, which is um, so the Olympics
Hmm.
have cheerleading as a test sport, if you will, and the group that's monitoring it is the ICU.
Hmm.
And criteria to be in the Olympics, you have to have different championships, much like gymnastics and swimming have the Pan Am Games and
Okay.
the European Championships. So ICU has all of that as well, the International Cheer Union,
Hmm.
and they have a world championship, just like ice skating does and gymnastics. And um, the Rutgers dance team was chosen to represent the United States, and we won the gold our first year and the silver the second year. Um, Very proud moments, but I will always be a champion of an underdog story or a fan of an underdog story. And I love when people kind of come out of nowhere and do something great. So I think that's where I love that year when we took second place. And I loved when our co-ed team made it to finals in 2014 because no one was expecting it, including us. And we made it, and it was like we were shot out of a cannon. And then just this past January, my co-ed team once again made it to finals, and I have to say it's all due to not only the kids on the team but the assistant coaches Mike Martinez, Katie Holine, and Patrick. We call him Scooter, so I always have to think of his first name, Patrick Mullen. But we were announced, and once again, when they announced that Rutgers went to finals, we created such a ruckus that they had to pause before announcing the next team. So, yeah, we have a history of doing that. But anyway, those three are the moments that stand out for me. Um, Also, the very first year we ever competed, um, a lot of this. I hope it's not too dull. The
No, no, no. This
they
is great.
used to have they used to have in the national championship. They only used to take a regional representative,
Mhm.
and Rutgers had never made it. And then in 1993, Rutgers was chosen as the Northeast representative.
Oh,
And because the South dominates, the South and Ohio dominate cheerleading,
mhm.
um, the Northeast had never placed anything but dead last. And that first year when we went, we went and we placed 11th out of 18 teams. And again, it was like we had won the world championship, you know? So anyway, I think those are my favorite memories and the ones that stand out to me because we work hard to represent the university and to be part of the atmosphere of the sports that we cheer for, and we work very hard at that. And this becomes a moment that's really just for us. It's very esoteric. It's only cheerleaders who are really there and their families. And but it's so meaningful and powerful. And the competition itself has gotten huge. So um, I think that's why it's so meaningful to us because it's a little bit of validation.
It's I have to tell you, I've people at home that may not know. We met through shooting Rutgers sports. I'm a Rutgers alumni. My wife is a Rutgers alumni. And she was in college engineering. I was at night school at Rutgers in Newark, but I have become a photographer on the sidelines. I've been doing it for many years. And so I've seen firsthand how you really rile up the crowd, keep them in the game at times because, our football program, I love our football program. And like you said about the underdog, I have season tickets for 30 years. Even though I get a tag and I come and I shoot, I still keep my season tickets because I, too, am a fan of the underdogs, such as Rutgers. And I tell everybody for 30 years, they're going to have their best season ever in football. And once in a while, I'm right, But, we can understand the underdog. But I also like the perspective about how when you go to these championships, when it's just your sport and your students just shining, not really them being reliant on, for example, if you guys cheer and do great and it's a big upset, hey, that's crazy. If you're cheering your heart out and Ohio State is up 56-0, and we miss a field goal with 3 seconds left. It may not be a lot to cheer about, but ever the optimist on my end, Rutgers is going to have their best season ever this year. I mentioned that will happen.
I don't know best season ever, but I think best season in quite a while.
Okay. Well, I always like to be the most optimistic.
We've got a long way to get past that 2000. 2007, 2006 year.
Yeah.
But I think Rutgers is on its way. Shiano is I want to say he's a magician, but he's really not because he doesn't deal in magic. It's not smoke and mirrors. He just builds a lot of relationships but I think he's the man to turn this around. The relationships he has with New Jersey coaches and with New Jersey athletes. And New Jersey is such a strong school for recruitment, such a strong state for recruitment that I think he can do a pretty bang up job over the next few years. I think he's got some time he's going to need some time to build because, we're always going to have Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State and Michigan State. And I honestly do think that within the next couple of years, 3 of those teams are imminently defeatable.
Love to hear that. I'd love to hear that. That's so perfectly phrased. Balance this between my excessive, almost borderline insane optimism and some reality. So you did that very well. I like that.
Yeah, it's that
look at it. I tell you, my
wife, state that's always going to be kind of a tough one. But I think the other 3 are, I think he can do something, and I'm looking forward to coming and watching him do it without the pressure of having to be there 5 hours before the game starts. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I know you were always there way before game time and long after. And, again, thank you for all the hours of hard work and dedication to Rutgers. I do want to say, so I've never really used the Zoom to do an interview. Usually I do them face-to-face, and they don't even actually go quite so long. I really appreciate you giving me all the time. This is actually going to get shared with Times Square Chronicles or T2C Online. And it's a lot of Broadway viewers. It's a big Broadway audience, and I think they're going to find this very entertaining and exciting. I don't know how much time is going to. I think I have about 8 or 10 minutes left on my thing here. So I wanted to ask you about dance and Broadway. Do you see, any kind of choreography work in your future? Do you see any kind of, between all your work there, or is that not your?
No. So what I'm good at, I am good at sitting. I'm actually more of a producer.
Okay.
I'm very good at sitting on this side of a table and seeing everybody on that side of the table who has specific talents, and be that training, choreography, or performing. And and so the last thing I choreographed was maybe 20 years ago.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but no, it's not. And as far as
Production Broadway needs producers.
Yeah.
When they come back, they will need producers.
Yeah, well, oof. September 6th, I think that's what they said so far. So no, I love Broadway shows, and it's so funny because my husband and I talk about it all the time. Our performances are so different. Our kids tend to be this hybrid of a Nick City dance, or dancers, because our cheerleaders are, that's more like Cirque du Soleil. They're just throwing bodies in the air and flipping and doing everything. Dancers, and I have to say, a lot of this comes from Christine Zoffinger. Christine, so I coached Christine. Most people don't know this. I coached her in high school. Then I came to Rutgers, and she came to Rutgers.
I did not know that.
Yes, and I coached her at Rutgers. And then I asked her to be my assistant coach. And she was my assistant coach. And then she took over the program. And then she asked me to come back and help. And she has really turned the dance team into the power that it is, and into the national competitive power that it is. And where they exist as this kind of hybrid of like a Nick City dancer and a Rockette.
Huh.
And so that's where it's very different from a Broadway show.
Uh-huh.
And in fact, we used to do a spring show for our dance team every year, where we would have some Broadway choreographers and some LA TV choreographers choreograph a number for the dancers. And then we would have a live singer sing the song. And it was interesting because they really became background. And what we are used to, especially with the dancers doing timeout routines, is that they're the focus. So it was very different. But I do have to say, we got a lot of people who love those spring shows. But that was neither here nor there. Sorry.
No, that's great. The spring shows are actually something interesting that, whoever sees it, somebody may have an interest in that again. Let's see. I was going to also ask you about, I know the Emmy and also Sundance. Would you share a little bit about that with us, with the folks at home?
Sure. So in 2006, my couple of partners and I created a web series called Floaters, and we produced 75 episodes of it, and we were nominated for an Emmy Award, a New York Emmy, but still an Emmy for writing and producing, and we won. And before Netflix, before Orange is the New Black, we won an Emmy for writing and producing a web series. And to put that into perspective, YouTube had launched in 2005.
Huh.
So YouTube is a year older than the show that we created. Wow. And so it was very interesting. I don't plan to go back to that, to that kind of creative content. I'm hoping that I move into something that's sort of good for the planet and for people in general. I don't know what that's going to be, but that's my hope, that I move into something like that. Most likely it'll include some sort of production of something, because it's what I like to do. It's what I like to do at Rutgers. It's like what I like to do in life.
I think a lot of people don't, well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't realize some of what I've come to see just as being a photographer along the sidelines, being that I was not just a photographer there to shoot the football team or the game, but that I was working for the person in the booth who was controlling the run of the show. And a lot of people don't even realize when you go to a football game, Giants game, Jets game, there's a run of show. There's ads that run at certain times. There's everything has to move, and you've seen it. Everything has to move like a well-oiled machine, or the wheels come off. And I know there's a great production team at Rutgers. I know you guys do a fantastic job. You're there, you're getting all the people in and out. I know I don't want to start naming names because there's too many and I don't want to forget somebody, but we had a similar, Times Square, you drop the ball midnight. We have a run of show that goes weeks beforehand, between getting everything in and out. But I just thought it was fantastic how you managed, because you seem to be in charge of different pieces all moving at the same time. And I always thought that was amazing. Oh, one other thing I just want to tell you, I appreciate your time very much. And I was a little bit concerned about the time. Something popped up on my screen and said, hey, Zoom is giving us a free extra few minutes. So I appreciate that. Let me jump on to how I have two other questions that I was going to touch on. What are you going to miss most about Rutgers, and how are you holding up in the pandemic? And you can pick which one you like first, pandemic or missing Rutgers.
I think the pandemic is kind of, we're holding up as much as any healthy person can. I just hope that everyone stays sane as things start to open up and not go crazy. But I'll get off my soapbox there. What I'm going to miss most about Rutgers, I will miss the students. I will miss the people I work with. I'll miss the atmosphere, especially now that everything's sort of starting to gel. And to be quite honest, it's not a what. I will miss Christine. 1987 until now. That's how long I've known her.
High school?
Yeah, when I started coaching her in high school.
That's incredible.
And I was right out of college. She was in high school. I've known her this long, and we're not going to end a friendship, but the friendship will always be there. It's just I won't have that sort of daily communication with her, and just the person who you can call and say, that kind of thing. And because she is that for me, and I think I am that for her at times. So sometimes I am the cause of her doing that. But yeah, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things I won't miss too. But I think that happens in every single job in the world. But I have to say the things I will miss are the things that have made it special and the things that have kept me around since 1990.
Okay. Well, that seems like, really a great spot to end. I just, it's funny. I was blessed. Both of my children were athletes all the way through college, NCAA, Division I and Division III. And I've seen firsthand the relationships that they've had with coaches all through high school, then with a different set of coaches all through college. They're both a couple years out of college now. My daughter was Monmouth University, set a bunch of records for the Hawks over there. My son was, again, Penn State, but, it's what we do. We still love them. Yeah. But I can't imagine that you had that bond for 8 years with an athlete, and then we're even more fortunate to actually work with them as adults through your careers. And I think that's fantastic. That's the little kind of silver linings that I think our Broadway audience loves. So I've done a few things trying to relate the game day football experience to almost going to see a Broadway play, trying to put it out there to people to say, listen, if you like the underdog, if you want some drama, and I tell them there's great music, there's a nice band, there's dancers, people, you'll love it. Come out and see it. And I've actually posted some of those. And, hopefully whatever things will turn around, people will start showing up for the football games. But hopefully we'll also see you back there when football returns, on a somewhat regular basis too. I know some people who have left, retired, and done other things, and I still see them around the stadium. So hopefully we'll still see you around the Rutgers world. But whatever you're on to in the future, I want to thank you for your many years at Rutgers, and congratulations on your retirement, I guess, after 30 years. You look so young, it's hard to say retirement, so I don't want to, But anyway, I really appreciate your time this afternoon, and I'll get this all put together, and I'll let you know when it goes up. Anything else that you'd like to share with the audience before we go?
I don't think so. I appreciate this, Brian. It's very, very kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mike. I'll let you know when it's all set to go, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe. Stay safe. Bye.
You too.
I'll end my recording. I got to figure that out. Thanks.